us a little bit about the Jambo phone.
For sure. So real quick is I'm James, the co-founder of Jambo. I'm Chinese, but I grew up in Africa my whole life. When you grow up in somewhere like Africa, emerging markets, you encounter problems like cross-border payments, remittances, banking the unbanked, and you start to realize whether Africa, Latam, Southeast Asia, this begins and ends with mobile. So we decided to build a $99 smartphone, the most powerful $99 smartphone. It's a phone that pays you. That's our slogan. It comes pre-installed with Web3 applications.
Jambo, we're building the largest mobile on-chain infrastructure and network. Essentially, when you come into the Jambo phone, there are 20 apps pre-installed. First of all, let's just put a scenario here. Say you're a 19-year-old in Sao Paulo, Brazil, our largest market. You see the phone, $99, is cheaper than any other smartphone you see on the market by at least 20%. You buy the phone, you come into it, you see the slogan, the phone that pays. You're intrigued. You're like, James, how does this even work? Come into the phone, there's 20 apps pre-installed. Only one of them is the Jambo app, which is your multi-chain wallet, which supports over 13 chains at the moment, and your questing platform. It tells you what to do in all of the other 19 apps to turn your time essentially into getting their tokens as rewards, being part of the community, and then we provide you an on and off ramp in over 100 countries right now. So we like to think of it as a way, you have a phone, you have a job. Now, the big vision for Jambo is honestly to become the on-chain app, right? At hardware, phones, communication, deepen, and self-built apps are all fair game at the moment. We essentially want to create and solve the largest issue of crypto at the moment, the choke point, essentially onboarding and accessibility.
We've just raised $410 million in a private placement round to launch our Solana digital asset treasury strategy up to $1 billion of gross proceeds. Whether that be today in 6 months, for Wall Street to catch a bid, going to S&P 500 with companies that own stocks on the NASDAQ owning Solana, then it's completely different. Because now, you look at Bitcoin. BlackRock, IBIT ETF, did more revenue, had more flows into the ETF than its S&P 500 ETF. Pretty insane. Fidelity, Vanguard, the largest asset managers in the world, are all in the game advising their clients to own cryptocurrency digital assets, whether that's in the form of Bitcoin or Solana. Now, when you go even more up, you have nation states that are printing capital to own more digital assets. You have the entire C-suite of the UX exec with the Secretary Treasury on Bitcoin, on establishing a reserve.
So we started, it took us, so we did our, I think when I hopped on the pod last, it was in 2022 towards our Series A, right? When Paradigm led our Series A in Q1. Basically in these last 2.5 years, we've set up our supply chain for phones. We have 3 factories, in Asia that we can do large numbers without having supply chain issues. And we've opened distribution channels to over 100 countries. Now, some numbers, in 2024, we did over 700,000 units of Jambo phones sold to over 100 countries, close to 128, created 6.6 million wallets. And I think most importantly is have now a very solid community base around the world.
So honestly, if you, our largest market is Brazil at the moment. We've, this year we've done about 600,000 phone sales to 128 countries. The issue that it solves might not be if you're in the US or in a first world country, but it's when you're in, say, Lagos in Nigeria, right? You're a 19-year-old, just graduated. At 10 a.m., you buy the phone. You spend the whole day on the phone. You might earn back 10, 20 bucks already. But even if you get rewarded with Bitcoin, you might not care what Bitcoin is. You just want local fiat currency. So we provide fiat to crypto on rails and off rails as well.
Okay, so yeah, because in emerging markets, access to banks, physical banks,
right,
is quite difficult. But Web3 kind of
1.4 billion people in Africa, 50% unbanked. Even if you airdrop them a non-custodial digital wallet, congrats, you bank the entire continent. Issue is they still have no access to global financial infrastructure because there's no credit. So with a phone, with a hardware device, you can actually gather the real data, for example, 5 hours of DAU on the phone at the moment, what people do, and then start to push various apps activities to them. Now, we are the infrastructure, right? We didn't build all 20 apps in the phone. That'd be crazy. There's a lot of great partners, their tokens listed, liquid, and then only from there, for example, Matrix Fire, FPS game, Web3 CSGO, you get to level 5, you earn X amount of Fire tokens, then you can exchange it for your local currency in over 100 countries. So it's a way to include, we always talk about the billions of new users in crypto. This is a way to actually onboard them.
Just a 20-second background to get to that is, so I grew up in the DRC in Kinshasa. My family's been there for 3 generations, so that was my whole life. Ended up in New York studying computer science at NYU. 2015 sophomore year, was my first time actually interacting with crypto. I bought my first Ethereum, we're studying comp sci class, and I was sending money back home to a friend. And that's how I discovered it. I feel like growing up in Africa or emerging market in general, if you discover something like this, it's not like, oh, this is a stock or this is something that's make some money off of it. This is like something crazy that you could never do before. Because before this, it would be buying gift cards or buying various other things to get money to Africa. So for us, it's been quite a journey. 2021 November is when I started Jumbo. We essentially had a few friends support us, very lucky, a few investors, and we did a seed round then. Off some good numbers, we did a Series A. I think at the end of the day though, expanding in Africa, people say like it's one region or one country, but honestly, you're talking about billions of people, 50-something countries, only one, Botswana, that has given the first crypto license in all of Africa.
Wow.
Yes, so dealing with each sort of regions, I think just from talking to investors, it's weird, because usually when I talk to investors, they know everything, about your topic before you even talk to them. That's the only reason. The investor. But for Africa, 95% plus of our investors have never been here or never even invested into the region. So for me, it really was a process of explaining what Africa is, the growth, smartphone penetration, 50%, 3 of the top 10 countries, crypto peer-to-peer transaction volume, the youngest population. Once they sort of see, I guess, these trends, they're more interested. I would say language barriers might be one of the biggest things, because we're in 14 regions at the moment, and obviously a lot of them are Francophone speaking. So myself and my sister, co-founder, we grew up in Congo, so we do speak French, that was a mother tongue, but when you're hiring and etc., you have to do a lot of things yourself, you have to be in the region. And our team right now is a bit over 100, mostly full-time, some part-time. So all of those took a long time to, I guess, build up. Well, hopefully when I come to Botswana in 10 years, I can download the Jumbo application and use it to do all kinds of on-rail and off-railing, but as well as make money. That would honestly be the craziest thing.